Hey guys, that was Gimme 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 by ABBA, and you are listening to Halsey for the record. This is episode 3. This is going to be an episode where I take you guys through my most listened to songs of 2022. The new year is coming up. New year, new music, new clean slate. Everyone's going to be releasing things. What's going to be on the end of our I meant new music, like other people are going to be releasing new music. I'm kind of excited. But I think that looking at the kind of songs that you listen to the most in like the past year is like really telling about what kind of a year you had. I think music is like a little bit of a ritual for us. You know what I mean? For me personally, I can really get fixated on a song and just listen to it over and over and over and over again when it just kind of like scratches that itch, you know? Sometimes you're looking for something and a song just gets you there and gets you in the right moment, and then it becomes like a kind of like this like time traveling device where then like whatever emotions or association you have with the song, you know, later on you can listen to it and it takes you right back there. That song, Gimme Gimme Gimme, is on the playlist because I used to listen to that song every single night before I would go on stage on the If I Can't Have Love I Want Power Tour, the 11 Power Tour. I don't know what it is about that record, man, but it just really made me want to, I don't know, just go out and conquer, you know? It was just really upbeat and had me like moving around in my dressing room and getting my blood pumping, getting my energy up, and it just reminded me, I don't know, of like a scene in like an 80s crime drama where like a bunch of girls are getting ready in a bathroom, you know what I mean? And like they don't know what's about to hit them. So that was definitely one of them. I rinsed that song. It was actually my number one most listened to song last year, which makes sense because of how many shows we did. And I would listen to it multiple times in a row while I was getting ready to go out, which was pretty funny, actually, if you think about it, because, you know, we're doing this tour where, like, all the visuals are, like, blood and guts and body horror, but, like, I'm listening to ABBA backstage. It's, like, kind of hilarious. Love ABBA. They're iconic. But I'm going to lead you guys into another song. We're going to be going through a bunch of them, and they all kind of broach different vibes. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, you know, what happened in 2022, what I'm looking forward to in 2023, and, you know, some funny moments and life lessons and what have you. But this other song was another one that I listened to before going on stage. And it's funny because on the tour, I was covering a song by this artist. So you would think that the song I was covering would be my most listened to, but it's not. It's actually this song, "Oh to Be in Love" by Kate Bush. That was "Oh to Be in Love" by Kate Bush, another one of my pre-show songs that I absolutely rinsed through last year. It was one of the most played songs on my playlist. It was another one that kind of got me pumped up in a different way for being on stage. I was like kind of like, you know, strutting around singing that song, and something about Kate's voice. First of all, it's a great vocal warm-up song because some of those notes that she's hitting are just like totally out of control. And I would have the most fun with them to warm up my voice to get out there. But something about Kate Bush just felt very like kindred with what I was doing on the tour and what I was doing with that album. Yeah, obviously I was covering the song. But yeah, that was another one that you could walk by my dressing room backstage at night and just hear me like belting and just like picture the scene. There's a bunch of like old dudes who work at a venue, like standing in the hallway. And I'm like wailing that from behind a door, and they're like all looking at it like, what's going on in there? But that was also how everyone knew that I was ready to go. I was ready to go on stage just because I had that song on. Eventually, I transitioned. Into like headphones when I was listening to it because I just got too embarrassed. But I would still sing along out loud, which in retrospect was probably worse. But you know, it kind of killed my stage fright a little bit, which is exactly what a good pre-show song should do. Is kill your stage. I think there was like a lot of pressure on this year, and I say post COVID, but obviously, you know, be safe, everybody, and make sure you're taking care of yourselves and stuff like that right now. But I think post lockdown is kind of more what I mean. Post isolation, post shutdown, kind of that confusing time. And I know I personally put like a ton of expectation and pressure on 2022 because of that, where I went into it kind of thinking that I needed to play catch up for the years that came before it. And I had all these expectations of myself. I was certainly itching for social interaction and camaraderie. And, the tour was really helpful for me because it definitely, it definitely like crash coursed me into interacting with tens of thousands of people at once. In a really macro way, but, also in those kind of little nuances and intricacies, getting to like have little moments with people throughout the show and on the road. Finally getting to perform music that I had written during the lockdown. It was the year for me where I kind of settled into being a mom, where I wasn't like, okay, holy cow, like I have no idea what I'm doing. It was kind of like the year where I was like, oh, I do know what I'm doing. Oh, okay, I'm good. We're good. I remember like when I first had Ender, the first couple weeks, I remember there's so many moments that are just like so, what's the word I'm looking for? There's so many moments that I think are challenging in certain ways. And not that they are challenging experiences, but they challenge you. They force you to look at yourself in a different way. And in those moments, I remember looking at him kind of in the beginning and being like, it's all right, dude. You've only been a baby for a few weeks, and I've only been a mom for a few weeks. Like, we're both just like, it's our first days on the job, we're gonna figure it out together. And then in 2022, I was kind of like, all right, we've both been doing this for a while. You know how to be a baby. I know how to be a mom, and we're rocking together. We got this going, So that was like, that was really nice, Just two little guys. That's really funny. So we were just two little guys. Yeah, we were. We were both just two little guys. Andrew loves music, like a lot, actually. I've told you guys before, he really loves drumming. And it's so interesting to see like what his specific taste is, because like he can be a really harsh critic, like there's some songs that he really doesn't respond to. And then there's some songs that really just get him going and make him really, really excited. He loves Smashing Pumpkins. He was really into Bad Habit by Steve Lacy. That was like one of his jams. He was super into that. He loves Jimi Hendrix, loves the Rolling Stones. I'm not going to say what he doesn't like, but because actually the first music he ever really responded to was Future and Young Thug, which is really funny. He was only like a couple weeks old and like really smiled and got into it. And I was like, wow, I love you. I know exactly who you are. Like, you're going to be amazing. But getting to expose him to music is so exciting, because I think that the type of music that we listen to when we're young really does have like a huge impact on the type of art that we like later in life, because it, like I said earlier, music is a ritual and it reminds you of certain moments and, hopefully good ones that we're building. But this last year, this year we're in now that is ending, that just happened, I started almost every single morning with this or give Enders breakfast or, 11 I would go for like drives and stuff and listen to this record. And something about it just immediately puts this feeling in my chest of like absolute happiness. I have a sneaking suspicion that the song is actually about a drug dealer, but that's cool because like when I hear it, I think about like my son and my partner instead. I guess definitely some parallels there, you know what I mean? Because they're kind of like dealing me serotonin like when I need it. So like the feeling of the feeling of them being like the connect for wanting to be happy is definitely there's definitely some correlation there. So yeah, definitely a normal song to think about your baby, but definitely one of my favorites puts me in a good mood immediately. Even when I listen to it right now, it's dark outside, but it's going to make me feel like it's daytime because I just so strongly associate it with the morning. This is Runner by Alex G. Runner by Alex G. I'm not even kidding you. I think I just totally messed up my circadian rhythm. Like my cortisol levels are definitely all over the place right now because I just like I'm like a Pavlovian response to that song where I'm like, all right, the day is getting started. Like I was actually pretty sleepy when I started this, and now I feel like all jacked and wide awake. It's really crazy how like music, and I guess from a frequency standpoint, it makes sense, right? Because your brain starts to associate certain frequencies with feelings or times of day. It's like almost like a mnemonic device for remembering a feeling as opposed to remembering a sentence or phrase or equation or whatever else. I used to do that in school a lot, make songs out of things so that I could remember them for tests. I have done a couple bad things, and he goes, yeah, I have done a couple, and he like screams, and every time that part hits, I always scream along with it. And like maybe that's why it's a good way to start the day, because I'm like screaming and getting all that tension out. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. Alex G's one of my favorite artists, actually. I like a ton of his music, and you know, a lot of it is about growth and sort of like how different your life can look now from like how it was, and like having faith in yourself, I guess. A ton of it is super self-deprecating too, which is obviously my style of writing. So I'm super into that style a lot. Songs like that were so important to me this year. Songs that really grounded me, you know, like I hadn't been on the road in a while, and being back on the road, especially kind of dealing with new health challenges this year was it was like a little overwhelming at times. I kind of forgot what that run around was like, you know, waking up in a different city every single day and not having a ton of stability or routine. I thought for a long time I was a person who didn't really love routine, like someone who kind of liked shaking things up and having things be unexpected every day. I felt like I kind of needed that to keep myself creative, I guess. And then when I was in quarantine, I mean, gosh, I was the first couple of weeks I was like a complete disaster because I realized how dependent I was on a secret invisible routine that was in place that I had not even recognized, right? Which is sort of this routine of having no routine, I guess. You know, for a long time my life had been waking up wherever, and you know, depending on the day, like doing meetings and starting glam, doing press, going to sound check, taking off the glam, doing a new glam, preparing for the show, getting on stage, doing the show, going to sleep. I sound like the Lady Gaga. I mean, bus, club, another club, plane, no sleep, show, whatever. That's what I sound like right now, but it's actually really funny. I know everybody made such a joke out of that, but every time I watch it, I'm like, damn, that really is what it's like. You know what I mean? She's actually like dead on. But I realized how much I needed like a little bit of a schedule and a little bit of a routine, and like maybe that's growing up, or maybe that's, you know, sort of like neurodivergence rearing its head a little bit more. But I got more into that routine, and music is a really, really awesome way for me to kind of guide myself along those routines until I feel comfortable enough to feel like they're like established on their own, you know, like gimme, gimme, gimme tells me you're going on stage, you know exactly what's going on, you know where you are, what's happening, you're great at this, you got it, this is your soundtrack to that moment. And then Runner had me starting the day being like, I got this, I got today, it's going to be a great day. You hear those guitars and pianos, the sun is going to be shining in California, let's go. It was like one of those. But not all the songs were so upbeat or so happy. There were some that were a little more tender and melancholic and sad. And this one in particular was my In My Feels song, you know? Everybody has one where it's like you kind of just want to torture yourself when you're like feeling sad and you're like, what should I do? Make myself more sad by listening to this sad song. That sounds like a great idea. But we all do it, you know, because sometimes you have to lean into it. Sometimes you have to lean into a feeling and fully, you know, fully immerse yourself in every single corner of that feeling so that you can come out on the other side feeling like you had conquered the feeling and you didn't leave anything behind. You had fully experienced what that emotion was intended to make you feel. And sometimes you need a little help doing that. And I think that those songs that make you lean into it are really, really helpful. This one in particular it's actually not that sad. It's just made me sad. And I don't know why, because it doesn't particularly relate to anything urgently personal in my life, but sometimes a good song can do that, man. Can make you feel like you're living what the artist is singing about, even if you're not. And this, for me, was one of them. This is Never Have Sex by Leith Ross. I mean, thank God that song is so short, right? Because otherwise, like, we would all just be in absolute misery. It's like actually really a good thing that it's so short, but also how it probably ended up on my most played, you know, because I would just listen to it over and over and over again. I just think that their lyrics are just exceptional. The lyrics suck the rot right out of my bloodstream. Whew, wish I wrote it. They come along every now and then, those lyrics that you wish you wrote, and that is definitely one of them for me, for sure. And also that guitar is just like so deep in your chest, that lower register. It's so nice and melancholic. I brought us up just to bring us back down, but don't worry, we're going to go all over the place. Everything is going to be fine. That song definitely makes me super reflective in a lot of ways, and I think reflection is really healthy. I think that sometimes we get to points in our life where, you know, we're like, okay, cool, I'm happy right now and everything's all good, so that means I can never think about the past ever again. Or like, oh, I shouldn't dwell on that, or thinking about something means I'm not over it. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there's lessons to be learned in our past experiences, and I think even more so when we revisit them with perspective. You know what I mean? You don't learn everything you're meant to learn from something in the moment or immediately after. There's like hidden lessons meant to be rediscovered or patterns meant to be recognized as you grow and as you start to learn more and have more experience. I used to beat myself up for that really bad, where I'd be like, why am I thinking about something? Why am I still writing about it? Or why am I X, Y, or Z? Like, I'm supposed to be over this. I'm supposed to be over this. You know, but that revisitation sometimes is indicative of your mind or your soul telling you there's something in that. There's something in that memory for you right now. Go back and find it. You know what I mean? I'm still learning lessons about things that I experienced even 10 years ago. Going through like absolute roller coasters of, well, they were wrong, or I was wrong, or nobody was wrong, or no, they were actually wrong, or no, maybe it was me that was wrong, or, you know, realizing the ways that, you know, you can attract certain experiences into your life, certain patterns, and comparing things. Oh, not the still learning plug. That's so funny. I did not mean to do that. What can I say? What can I say? That's how you know the lyrics are all coming straight from my heart, is that I'm accidentally repeating myself over and over and over again without even meaning to. That's really funny. I had a point. I don't remember what it was, but you guys got the gist of it. I think it's like, you know, sometimes it's okay to think about the past. It doesn't mean you're not over it. It means there's still lessons to learn, you know? I think this year taught me a lot about trying to predict the future less. I used to be someone who wanted to plan out everything. When I was 18 and my career started, I had a 10-year plan. And for the most part, it really worked out, which is crazy. It worked out leading right up to my Saturn return. And if you know anything about astrology, then you know exactly how crazy it is that happened. But what that meant was on my 28th birthday, I was like, oh shit, I have no idea what the hell comes next after this because I haven't written it yet. I was like, I've been following this map, I've been following this plan, these checkpoints, you know? And then I turned 28 and was like panicking, flipping through this empty book, being like, oh no, 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 the pages are empty, what am I gonna do? You know, kind of having that experience. And I had an absolute freak out. Oh my gosh, I had a freak out on my birthday. I spent my birthday on a plane flying to Paris for Fashion Week, and which was funny because I kind of time traveled through it. But just being alone with my thoughts on this like 12-hour flight, I was just like, wow, what am I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I used to know what I was doing every single day. And now I have no idea what life holds for me on Friday. And it was a lesson. It was a hard ass lesson from the universe in surrendering control. I think I used to need to have such control because I wasn't emotionally evolved. I didn't have good coping mechanisms and good defense mechanisms. The environment that I grew up in was really unstable and unpredictable. And so control was kind of my way of, you know, needing to know what was coming next and etc. and feeling prepared. And now I'm in a place where the ship is not going to sink if I don't know exactly what's happening all the time. And I think that part of that is an indication that there's good things going on, right? Which is that I've created a foundation for myself that's stable, which is really, you know, all I can really ask for at this stage of my life and at this stage of adulthood. But it's also an indication that I gotta let go a little bit, and I need to surrender to a divine plan, maybe surrender to the belief that things will work out the way that they're meant to. And I've been doing that quite a bit after I got through, you know, those first few weeks of absolute sheer horror and panic. And then I was like, of how my life is supposed to be or how it's supposed to go. With that being said, I'm about to make a ginormous segue. I'm going to go completely left and in a completely different direction out of sadness. One of the things that I wanted for myself this year was kind of going out more and doing more stuff. I think that's, again, really normal post-lockdown, post-quarantine. But, you know, I think right around the time Without Me came out, I started working a lot. You know, number one records are they're usually accidents, you know, like nobody knows what song is going to be a number one song. The people decide, you guys decide. But once it kind of starts picking up steam and it happens that way, there's a lot of work involved in having a number one record. Sometimes it's not just about magic happening. It's about hard work as well and showing up. And, you know, during Without Me, I was doing that every single day for most of my days, you know, flying to Japan, to New York, to Australia, to London, back to Australia, to Korea, to LA, just all over the place. It did a number on my body. It did a number on my mind. And, you know, what did I get out of it? I got a number one song, which was really awesome. But then at the end of the day, I was like, I don't know if this is worth doing again. By no means to sound so arrogant as to insinuate that I could just go chase another number one song all over again. That's not necessarily what I'm implying. But if the opportunity ever came up, you know, where a record was really connecting with you guys and maybe it was like a number 10 or a number 9, and if I really wanted to, I could go do that push to make sure as many people heard it as possible. I don't know today if I would, just because of the toll that it took on me to make it happen. But because I was working so much and I was so insulated, I told myself after Manic Tour I was gonna like, loosen up and like have some fun and go out and do some stuff. And then I flew home from Europe to the lockdown. And so then I was home for quite a bit, and then I made the record, and then I was pregnant, we made the movie, and I was promoting the record, and I went on tour, and by the time the tour finished, I was like, God damn it, it's time for me to have some fun, you know? I think that I had really aged myself and maturated myself. I was like, well, I have a baby now, so I don't do fun things. And then I was like, hey, loser, that's literally the antithesis of what your whole record is about, which is that you can be an independent, fully realized person and not just be completely identified by the fact that you're a mom. And so I was like, all right, cool. My son goes to bed at like 7 p.m. Plenty of time for mom to go out and do some stuff. And I started going to a lot of concerts and like going out and seeing some friends. But it wasn't easy transitioning back into like social life. And I needed a little boost of confidence, something that made me feel like a man-eating femme fatale who was just gonna main character my way through every single evening and rendezvous. And this was the song that made it happen for me. This is the one that I would listen to while I was getting ready, that made me feel like I could go conquer the night. This is Dark Angel by Provoker. That was Dark Angel by Provoker. That song literally just makes me ready to like get dressed up and like go out. The song didn't restart. That's how it ends, guys. Creative license. Let them do their thing, They're taking you back into the world for a second just to rip you right out. Yeah, that one always puts me in a vibe. I saw someone said it reminds them of She Wants Revenge. Me too. Big fan of She Wants Revenge as well, which is really cool. Also, I saw someone say that I should do this as a video instead of audio. Simply never, because right now I am in a hoodie with no makeup on and a smoothie, and I wouldn't be able to do that if it were a video feature. I know you guys wouldn't care, but it would get screen recorded and posted elsewhere where people would be mean to me. So this is so much better because I can just talk and there's less of an emphasis on what I look like. So I'm staying audio. Audio is king for me, for sure. Do a fit check, but just describe it. All right, I got on black leg warmers, a black pleated skirt, a black hoodie, a black headband, no makeup. I'm breaking out everywhere, So it is what it is. It's good stuff. We had a long morning this morning because we were prepping a rehearsal for something that's a surprise. You'll see. It's really cool, but I can't say anything about it. I'm strictly bound to secrecy on it. Small, but it's small. My part in it is small, but it's actually a pretty big deal for a very specific demographic of people. I don't know. I'm trying to I can't. You're never gonna guess it, so it's fine. Don't even worry about it. I love doing these because I really do have such a diverse music taste, and I think part of that is because someone said, "Are you in Gossip Girl?" No, I'm not in Gossip Girl. That's hilarious, though. Maybe I should be. I don't know. Thanks for throwing that out there, though. If I could be in anything, I would want to be in You. That's what I would want. I would want to be the bitch that finally takes down Joe. Because I think I could do it. I think. I don't know. We'll see. That's what I would want to be in, for sure. Is the new season's coming out soon, right? Yeah. It's coming out soon. That's exciting. I can't wait. No, I know, Anthony. Why are you looking at me like that? I feel like if you guys hadn't seen Anthony in the earlier stages so often, I feel like there would be a rumor that Anthony's like not real. Like he's like a hallucination. And I'm just like talking to myself all the time, being like, Anthony said, or like, no, Anthony. That's like what it seems like. You're like this like omnipresent, benevolent figure. Just like always lurking. It's great. I love it. Also, low-key, I feel like everybody's really scared of you. And they should be, because you're a savage. I'm just kidding, you're an angel. Okay, I'm like, this thing's starting it. Someone said, wait, Anthony's real? Fuck you. That's so funny. That's my day one. That's my day one. Um, Anyway, in regards to diverse music taste, I think there's like things that I like about so many different genres and so many different types of songs. And like I've said in an earlier episode, that's kind of what informs the music that I write because I take unlikely parts from songs as inspiration and like put them together for my own music. And, you know, some of the stuff that I've been writing lately, I've just been writing for fun. I posted on my Tumblr because I have a Tumblr now again. I posted on my Tumblr and I said, you know, I've just been writing like it's a compulsion, you know, just like I can't stop all day long, literally having conversations with people, talking back, responding, fully engaged, but also like typing away in my phone fast as possible and somehow also writing coherently about something completely different than what I'm talking about. And then looking at my phone and being like, what did I just write? You know what I mean? And like having to having to go back and like reanalyze what came through my subconscious in that moment. Usually I'll read something and I like kind of read it to like a rhythmic pattern a little bit and then the melodies start to inform themselves a little bit. And right now I've been just teasing a lot of different teasing myself rather with like a lot of different ideas and, you know, possibilities from very broad genres of music that I've been listening to. And that can either be really good or really bad. You know what I mean? Like sometimes experimenting with ingredients can make a meal super tasty, or you can be like, none of this shit goes together. This is fucking gross. And with music, it can kind of happen that way too, where like something sounds like a good idea and then you execute it and it's just like not great. Where you're like, yeah, like what if there was like marching band drums and then it was like, you know, like a Y2K pop female vocal, but like the piano, it was like church organs, you know? And then you're like, that doesn't sound good. That it sounds like a cool idea, but then you hear it together and you're like, this is garbage. It's like if there was a Gordon Ramsay of music, it would be like in your studio being like, this is fucking disappointing. But you kind of have to like make those mistakes and try to like figure it out, I guess. Also, I low key, minus the drums, just basically described Walls Could Talk, which is really funny. But that's why we took the drums off of that one and put the clocks in instead. All right, I'm starting to get long winded here. This song was another one of my most listened to. Oh, that's funny. Somebody just brought it up. Somebody's a psychic in the chat. This song was one of my most listened to. One of my favorite artists ever. And, you know, I'm not like only a person who listens to like super obscure music. I fucking love pop music because I make it sometimes and I think it's a tremendously challenging science and I have so much respect for people who really nail pop music because it's one of those genres where like 99 times someone gets it wrong and then one time they get it right and when they do it's so right. And for me, this artist and this record was one of them. And I just rinsed it this year because it feels so good and so courageous of a song. This is Music for a Sushi Restaurant by Harry Styles. Mop the floor. Mom's playing the fucking song again. It's for sure going to be one of those. I'm going to be just like hairbrush singing into their bedrooms with like a towel on my head, like, get your asses up. It's Sunday. We're cleaning Harry Styles on. Let's go. You can already picture it, right? It's happening. Yeah, it's definitely happening. Also, I think it's a Gemini full moon tonight, right? Which is crazy because I feel like my playlist on this episode has been super like dual personality. So very, very, very on brand, you know? It's not always a bad thing. You know what I mean? I'm like the queen of duality and two personalities, alter ego, and stuff like that, you know? So that's, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, Clementine Shea. I was like, I work in a nursing home, so pray for me. It's like an old, I guess like not anecdote, but like a urban legend, I guess, you know, that like, hospitals and like schools and places like that are super crazy on full moons. And like, I totally agree. You're pregnant again? No, I'm not pregnant again. I am not pregnant again. I just said kids, meaning like, hopefully when I have more kids. I don't know. God willing that I have more kids. Um, it's almost the holidays, and I think that for some people that's a really exciting thing, and for some people it's not so much a really exciting thing. I've had like a very hot and cold relationship with holidays over the years. Depending on what my relationship with my family is like, or how I feel about myself. And when I was younger, they were really tough for me, I think, because they were really tough on my parents, because they didn't always have the means to get us everything we wanted for Christmas. And, I know that was really tough in my household. And so, as an adult now, I definitely tend to go a little nuts on my family, just kind of like in appreciation for those years where they did the best that they could. And in my family, one of the things that we do as a tradition that we take really seriously is the Christmas stockings. And it's where you usually like hide the best gift or like the prank gift, or, I remember one year I really wanted a new violin for Christmas, and an instrument like that was just like not really in my parents' means at the time. So I don't really think that I was going to get one. And I opened a few gifts, and they were like, I was really happy, and I was trying really hard to like smile for my parents and be like, oh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. But I was obviously like kind of disappointed because I really wanted this one thing, but I totally understood why, I couldn't have it. And then I opened my Christmas stocking, and I took out, everything that was in it, like some chapstick, socks, all those types of things. And then at the bottom of the stocking was like a little note, and the note was like, I don't remember, it was like, go look on the dining room table, or like go look in the kitchen or something like that. And so I got the note, and like I ran in, and there was a violin that my parents had gotten me secondhand from a music store. And I just remember it was like the most amazing feeling ever. Honestly, probably part of the reason I love leaving little like Easter eggs for you guys actually is because I remember what that moment and like moments like that, like how they made me feel. So it's really interesting to think about actually the way that like affected me as a kid, and like how I'm kind of doing it for you guys in certain ways now. But I spent a lot of years on the road. I wasn't always like with my family on Christmas, and then I started hosting Christmas at my house, and now I have my own family, so Christmas is a whole other thing. I know you guys saw I did like a really cool Christmas tree last year that had all these like super eccentric, weird ornaments on it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it again, just because Ender is like, he's at that age where he just wants to like rip everything off the tree. He's really cute though. He pets the tree like it's a living thing. Like, because obviously we taught him, gentle, like when he's like petting something. So now he comes up to the tree and he like pets the branches, and he's doing gentle, and it's really, really cute. I'm super grateful, to see that in him, like kind of respect for all living things. I don't have the heart to tell him it's a fake tree though, because I think he thinks it's real, but he doesn't know the difference yet, And we'll get him a real one. Get him a real one next year. But if the holidays are hard for you, just remember not to put too much emphasis or pressure on the day. It's really just a day. If you're someone who's religious or your faith is really important to you, no matter what holiday you're celebrating right now, there's ways that you can acknowledge that and, bear witness. That's about your relationship with your faith. The rest of it is kind of all just, it's meant to be good if you've got it good, but there's no reason to push yourself into a situation that's uncomfortable or damaging or frustrating or, even perhaps emotionally volatile or toxic for you in some way. You gotta look out for yourself first. And as these years go on, there will be plenty of other holidays with positive memories to replace the ones that didn't go quite the way that the movies tell you that they're supposed to go. Um, for that reason, my family and I, with Christmas, in regards to Christmas, we're kind of like really non traditional about it. Last year we played Cards Against Humanity and watched Catch Me If You Can, which is shadily my favorite Christmas movie ever. And if anyone tells me it's not a Christmas movie, I'm going to tell you you're wrong because it culminates on Christmas and there's the running through line where, they're calling each other to say Merry Christmas. So that makes it a Christmas movie to me. It's also one of the best films ever made. Fantastic movie. You should watch it for sure. I'm thinking about doing another episode at some point before the end of the year if I can. And I was going to maybe time it around the holidays. So if any of you have like long drives to see people or you happen to be spending them by yourselves, you can check in with me and we can hang out together and be there for each other in that way. But like I said, if you have something super awesome to look forward to, that's great. Use it as an opportunity to like further connect with the people that you love. And if you don't beat yourself up for it. There's 364 other days in the year. And some years are better than others. And this time of year is kind of hard for everybody on a biological level. It's dark, it's cold, and that is years and years and years of evolution in biology. That is not your fault. That is happening on a cellular level. So if you're feeling kind of down, just submit to it. Let yourself feel and do little things here and there to cheer yourself up. And if you're getting a break from work, enjoy that break. And if you're not, maybe enjoy the distraction. I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel about it. Because like I said, my relationship with holidays has changed all the time and probably will continue to. I try to create little personal holidays throughout the year, like I did on 11/21. A couple weeks ago. I have no concept of time. With that being said, I'm getting long-winded. So this song actually was one of my most listened to in the past year. And there's something very sad holiday time about it for me. And it's by one of the most iconic, musical entities to ever exist. And I'm going to leave you guys with this one as a little evening wind down. Happy holidays. If I don't talk to you again, I hope everybody has a nice, calming, relaxing, or transformative time. All of my love to you. And thanks for making 2022 a really awesome year for me where I learned a lot of lessons, and I think that I'll reflect like super positively on the way this year went, even though it didn't go the way that I predicted. I'm just submitting. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 3 of Halsey for the Record. I'll let you know when I'll see you again. This is Jesus by the Velvet Underground.